Hello, this is Sebastian Zaragoza, and today I will talk about the causes and effects of unemployment and why I consider that this is an important topic. So, first and foremost, I will address that for this presentation. I decided to use two sources. So, the first one is um, Inflation and Employment by Dawson Graham, and the second source of information that I've used was Unemployment by Stone Jack. So basically, the reason why I decided to use both of these sources um, is mainly to have a wider perspective of what are those causes and consequences of unemployment. So the first cause of unemployment that I do think is really important is the environment cause. So in this case, to give you an example, like when COVID started and when COVID happened, like most restaurants and companies were affected, strongly affected to the point where they they were like most small companies even like face trouble to keep going and they have to shut their company. Meanwhile, the other big companies like Cactus Club, like Joey's, remain at a certain point in standby um, terms, but they were not making a lot of income and making progress um, to keep employees in their companies as well. So that is a very important um, cause to talk about because it's just amazing how small things that happens in our environment can affect or benefit um, the companies nowadays. So one of the first effect that may happen if a company if an employee is going through an unemployed process is that um, first and foremost the employee may face like anxious or may feel like he's not um, efficient or something is wrong with them, but sometimes it's not a matter of the employee performance, but the company standards and basically metrics. Every company has to have a certain metric and goal to keep everyone efficient and to keep everyone basically to keep working, right? So one of the uh, causes that also can affect to be unemployed is the low skills and how this matters. So a low skill person is likely to affect not only his person and his productivity, but also his environment. So a person who doesn't know what to do a job, it's definitely a big risk. It's definitely a big risk because he may injure himself or his environment, right? So another point to talk about that I think is really important is the knowledge of things. So a person, to give you an idea, a person who doesn't know how to use a tool in a construction site may be a big factor for a big problem or accident, right? Then furthermore will affect his environment and obviously will cost money to the company who is in charge of that person. So essentially, a person who is more skilled tend to be less replaceable, right? So, for example, here I'm showing you guys four persons. So we have Imani Jackson, who has a hospitality diploma. She knows the basic assets and perspectives of serving. Then we have Marcus Galan, which is a manager. He has his bachelor in hospitality management, so he knows more of the entry level of managing, but not, of course, like in the wide perspective, right? And then we have Atin Askari, who has a better and wider perspective of what managing entails. And then we have Cody Williams, which in this case will be the guy that has more knowledge sometimes to talk about the managing and how to target the essential points to keep everything flowing, right? So another thing that I think is very important to mention is that the low efficiency, which is another like cause of unemployment, is that the low efficiency at work is definitely something really crucial. So most companies work on their productivity. So the more productivity you have in the less time possible is better for the company to keep producing more and more and more. So what happens is that when a person is lacking of that productivity and efficiency, not all the time this may be caused by that person, but also by his manager. So it's really important to mention that a manager plays a big role on how workers may be developing and basically working through their daily shifts. So if a manager is not motivating his workers, obviously there's not going to be efficiency or productivity. There's not going to be like bonus for the company. They will not be reaching their goals. There will not be any optimal leadership, and for sure workers may tend to just fail, and over the time or even over 1 month this might cause like a big impact into the budget of the company. And well, lastly, I would like to conclude this with how important it is the lack of skills, low demand, and the poor efficiency. So basically everything that goes around personal, political, and even environmental has a big impact on the company, on the employee and employer. So it's really important to keep everything on track, to make sure everything has a good planning for the company to remain solid, and to avoid any short of hours, any person to be fired, or simply just be unemployed. So yeah, that was pretty much it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have a good day.